if Caitlin would start her own league with you, I'd give her $100 million and I have as many billionaires as you needed to start a league.
I'll give Caitlin Clark $100 million to start her own league. That's not a rumor. That's the quote. And the second those words hit the air, you could feel the temperature in women's basketball jump 10 degrees. Because if that offer is real, and it sure sounded real, the entire balance of power in the WNBA just tilted toward one person. Not a network, not a boardroom. One player. So let's ask the question everyone else is tiptoeing around. Is this the moment the league's leadership finally loses the room? Or is this the pressure point that forces the biggest reset in WNBA history?
If she truly was like, I'm out of here, I'm starting my own league, she'd have people lining up, including myself, and she would put the WNBA out of business. I really do believe that. I think she's that powerful for the whole league.
Quick challenge to start. If you were Caitlin, do you take the $100 million and build a new league? Or stay, force reforms, and become the most powerful active player in a major sports league? Drop build or reform in the comments so we can see where the fan base actually stands. All right, here's what just happened and why it matters more than any hot take feud or highlight reel.
You said you'd partner with her and give her $100 million. That's the biggest offer that she's gotten. So
if she would have let me be her agent, I would have in a second. And if she's like, I'll start a new league with you, I would get her whatever you want.
Portnoy goes on air and puts a number to the conversation that's been simmering all season. The idea that Caitlin Clark's gravity, her ticket sales, her TV pull, her sponsor Halo can stand up an entire business, not just boost a schedule. He doesn't float support. He doesn't say maybe. He speaks in the language that decides outcomes: capital, distribution, and speed.
If Caitlin Clark said, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home and I'm starting my own league, the WNBA would be done in 2 seconds. You don't think Caitlin Clark could line up billionaire investors and start and just get all these players to come with her if they're going to pay a lot more? Of course she would, but for some reason, they want to alienate her. It's like they want her to suffer coming in. You just never seen anything like it where the commissioner doesn't seem to value the stars or the golden goose.
A rival league pitch is only as strong as three things: money, stars, and story. He put money on the table. The stars? That's where leverage gets real. Because the truth, whether you love or hate it, is simple. Caitlin Clark has become appointment viewing. When she plays, arenas fill. When she sits, you feel it. If she moves, eyeballs move with her. And story? You're watching it unfold right now. Respect, leadership, and who actually gets to shape the future of the sport.
Like money talks. Like if you get the money lined up and you get the superstars, like, oh, you can only make $1 million here, you can make $5 million with our league. I think it would work.
I mean, when she was golfing, originally when she did that little celebrity golf thing, it wasn't going to be televised. And there were so many people emailing them saying like, can we see this? Like, how can we see this? And then all of a sudden it was on television. And so even that in itself, it's like Caitlin, she hit somebody with the golf ball.
Yeah,
That's like, she's not,
yeah.
You know, it's not like she's this phenomenal golfer that, no offense, Caitlin, but like.
she would be top 3. Like if I could just be like, hey, I want Barstool to rep you and have the rights to like use your marketing, and she would top the line, male, female, any. I believe that's how powerful she really is.
But for a bombshell like this to land, the ground has to be cracked already, and fans have felt those cracks for months. Officiating frustration boiling over, physical play that too often turns defense into deterrence, messaging from the top that can feel allergic to its own biggest draw, players airing out concerns about leadership in exit interviews. None of that is normal in a healthy product cycle. That's what a pressure cooker sounds like right before the whistle. Now, to be clear, there's spin everywhere. People will argue over who said what, who meant what, and who deserves credit for growth. Fine. Let's zoom out and stick to the game board.
Do you give Kathy Engelbert credit for the TV deals that she has struck, or does all this kind of lead to her demise?
No, I give her no credit for anything she struck, because as far as I know, it was a struggling league until this new class of rookies came out. And I mean, listen, this may say a lot about my WNBA knowledge. If you threw Asia Wilson's name at me like 2 years ago, I'm not sure I really would have known who that is. I certainly would have known who Nafisa Collier is. Like, yes, I knew the bigger stars, and those are as big, but like I'm talking to Diana Taurasi, but I wasn't locked in on this league. Everything has changed.
On one side, a commissioner tasked with protecting a league, a CBA, broadcast deals, owners, and the idea that no league should be about a single player. On the other, a phenomenon who, without asking for it, has become a walking media ecosystem. She sells the tickets, spikes the ratings, packs road arenas, and drags new fans into the tent who didn't care last year and can't miss a tip-off now. That tension is not toxic by default. In most leagues, it's how greatness and growth get negotiated. But it turns toxic when leadership tries to downplay the phenomenon instead of harnessing it. It's one thing to say no league is just one player. It's another to build a calendar, a marketing machine, and a referee standard that acts like the one player doesn't exist.
I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs. I also asked how she planned to fix the fact that players like Caitlin, Angel, and Paige, who are clearly driving massive revenue for the league, are making so little for their first 4 years. Her response was, Caitlin should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court, because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything. And in that same conversation, she told me players should be on their knees thanking their lucky stars for the media rights deal that I got them.
This is where the $100 M offer becomes more than a headline. It's leverage. It's a blinking neon reminder that the power dynamic has changed. The old playbook, slow roll growth, spread the spotlight evenly, hope the product sells itself, doesn't work when you're dealing with a once-in-a-generation engine. You don't dim the sun to make the stars visible. You build the season around daylight and watch everything else grow. Let's play out both roads, because either path is seismic.
Like the ratings show it, the interest shows it, we're talking about it. You turn on Fox Sports, you talk, or ESPN, they talk about the WNBA a lot. That was never the case like 3-4 years ago.
I mean, last season was insane, and you can look at the ratings too. And I think there was, like, the fevered numbers actually were better than some NBA teams' numbers when it came to viewership last season. And so, like, the numbers are there.
Road 1. Caitlin takes the deal. What would that actually look like? It's not just throw money and poof, a league. You need a smart season window to avoid calendar collisions. You need arenas that make the product look premium on day one. You need distribution, streaming, and linear, because if your debut is stuck behind a paywall, you're dead. You need at least 8 marquee names signing letters of intent on camera in week 1. And you need a rules emphasis that protects flow and freedom of movement so your stars actually look like stars. People aren't tuning in for wrestling on hardwood. They want skill, speed, and shot making.
But these are the same players who have essentially tried to run Caitlin and her fans out of this league, including me. I don't make it about me, but if you recall, and I will make it about me, when I went to the Fever Chicago game, they launched an investigation saying I was doing monkey calls, which is the most outrageous thing in the history of the world because of the Jumbotron, and a league that'll say Indiana Fever fans are bad and we're doing investigations with no proof, no nothing, and have never stuck up for Caitlin. And you've had players be like, it's not about her, why she get all the attention? But then they don't complain when they get private planes from Caitlin in the new media deals. So
could it happen? Money can solve logistics faster than committees. Venues get booked, production trucks appear, sponsors follow attention, and make no mistake, attention would be gravitational. The big obstacle is contractual. Players are under WNBA deals. There are international commitments. There are FIBA windows. There are non-competes, league marks, union politics, and 1,000 practical speed bumps. But remember, leverage doesn't require you to actually launch. Sometimes the credible threat of launch flips the current system on its head. Ask any tech founder who forced a giant to copy their roadmap. Attention plus capital equals options. Road 2. Caitlin stays, but uses this moment to demand change. This is not the play nice, wait your turn version. This is the Tom Brady rules emphasis, the Jordan in the 90s pivot, the protect the product by protecting the players season. You set an officiating standard that punishes grabbing, bumping, and off-ball mugging. You let shooters land. You let movement breathe. Physicality stays. Cheap shots go. The game looks like skill, and the stars look like stars. That's not favoritism. That's good business. Every major league eventually makes this decision when the talent curve gets too good to hide.
They've alienated an entirely new fan base, and it's almost like the old guard have consistently, we want the credit, we don't want to share in the pot. So Nafisa is correct, and she's been saying those things from the jump, but I find it curious, a lot of the players who don't seemingly equate embracing all these new fans with bigger contract deals, bigger money, are now agreeing with her. It's both. The referees stink. Everything about the league, the way they run it and market it, stink. The way they treat their fans, stink. So all of this is true.
Next, you centralize marketing. The way the NFL does its biggest quarterbacks and the NBA does its MVP tier. You don't pretend all storylines are equal. You anchor your broadcast schedule around the names casual fans can say without Googling. You let rivalries breathe. Caitlyn versus Angel, Caitlyn versus Aja, Caitlyn versus New York, without turning it into WWE. You sell competitive tension, not petty beef. Travel? Fix it. Charter solves headlines before they exist. If the CBA and partners need recutting, recut them. The cost of bad optics exceeds the savings. Your sponsors know it. Your networks know it. Your fans scream it every time a travel clip goes viral. And then you do the thing that changes player loyalty more than any speech. Revenue, participation. Not just a raise. A mechanism where top performers share in the upside they create. League bonuses for rating thresholds, digital rev share, playoff pool escalators. You want buy-in? Give the people creating the growth a slice of the growth. Which road is more likely? Here's the truth. Caitlyn Clark has earned the luxury of patience and the threat of action. She doesn't need to posture on social. She doesn't need to go scorched earth. The existence of a 9-figure offer creates a market where leadership either adapts fast or gets replaced by the market itself.
Now, amongst the billionaire class, sports seem to be like the next big investment wave, right? Especially with all other entertainment kind of going AI. Like, this is going to be where human beings are still telling stories on the field, on the court, where everybody wants to put in their money.
There's also a cultural piece nobody wants to say out loud. New fans are flooding in. They don't know the old hierarchies. They're not asking permission. They buy tickets for the show they want. If the league welcomes them, you get a generation of lifers. If the league scolds them, they'll follow the star wherever she goes. That's the modern attention economy. You don't gatekeep the on-ramp to growth. What about the locker room? Does building around one star alienate other stars? It can, if you do it lazily. The smart version uses the biggest magnet to lift every storyline. You don't just market Caitlyn. You package slates, Caitlyn versus Aja's dynasty, Caitlyn versus the Liberty's super team, Caitlyn on a back-to-back where another rookie pops for 32 and steals a city's heart for a night. You stop pretending the face of the league erases everyone else and start acting like a rising tide with a very powerful moon. Let's also address the elephant in the arena. Safety and respect. Fans aren't purists. They don't break down hedge drop coverages on possession 83. They feel fairness. They feel when whistles swing games. They feel when a star takes 2 flagrant level hits in 1 week and the reaction from the top sounds like a shrug. Clean that up and watch the casuals become diehards.
I mean, they got to clean up the league. The refereeing is atrocious, and you can't.
What do you think is the change there?
You got to let your superstars be superstars. You can't let your best players be getting mugged. Freedom of movement, things like that. Like, people don't want to. There's a reason why everyone's hurt. Like, protect your players. Like, it's not in the NBA. Yeah, okay, fine. In the beginning, like, Jordan was getting hammered, but like, you don't want.
But they changed the rules.
Correct. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's okay to be like, we want Caitlyn or Paige to shine. Like, that helps the game. Let your superstars be superstars. That's what we want to see.
If you're the commissioner, this is the pivot. Not a tweet, not a panel, a visible, immediate reframe. Announce an officiating emphasis with clips, memos, and consequences. Publish a national TV slate that follows the heat map of demand. Put a public timestamp on charter travel expansion. Launch a star-driven content studio that pushes behind-the-scenes storytelling weekly, not quarterly. And most importantly, get in front of a mic and own the moment. Say the quiet part proudly. Superstars grow leagues. Our job is to help them shine and bring everyone with them. Because here's the thing about one-player leagues. They don't exist. What exists is the ignition point. Jordan didn't make the entire NBA by himself. He ignited it. Brady didn't invent the NFL. He accelerated it. Messi didn't create global soccer. He expanded its borders. The job of leadership is to turn an ignition point into an engine. If you fight the spark, you sit in the dark. So where does that leave Caitlyn right now?
Very rarely, if ever, publicly says anything that, like, should cause any waves. She's kind of like been a good trooper for the Fever and the league.
Ironically, in the most powerful place a competitor can be, focused. No need for public threats. No list of demands. Play, win, fill buildings. Let your agent answer phone calls, and let the market do what markets do when there's scarcity and demand. Bid. Quiet leverage is the loudest sound in sports. If Portnoy's offer is posturing, it still served a purpose. It forced a real conversation about value, risk, and vision. If his offer is real, and it sure came off that way, then the WNBA just got a preview of the alternate timeline. And previews change endings. So here's the closing picture. Two futures. Same game. In one, the league leans in. Referees protect freedom of movement. Stars are programmed like stars. The travel is uncontroversial. The schedule is built for prime time, not apology tour. You see sellouts in cities that haven't sniffed a sellout in a decade. You see little girls and little boys pointing to the floor saying, "That's the shot I'm practicing tonight." You see veteran stars eating too, because a bigger pie tastes better for everyone. In the other, the league shrugs, players grumble, fans get told to clap quieter, and the most bankable athlete in women's sports history realizes she doesn't have to carry a weight that doesn't want to be carried. A camera crew sets up in a different arena. A new logo trends at noon, and by sunset, sponsors are calling their agencies asking how fast they can move budgets. You don't need to like that reality. You do need to accept it. So should Caitlin Clark take $100 million and build the future from scratch, or force the future to arrive where she already is? That's the question. That's the fork in the road. And one way or another, it gets answered soon. By action, by reform, or by a headline that breaks the internet. Your turn. Build or reform? Which path would you pick? I'm reading every comment. If you want more real talk and no spin, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The next chapter of this story won't wait, and we'll be here the second it breaks.